Hi P2 families, this is our Social Studies Week 32 lesson, and it's a lesson that I found very important and we should have a discussion with our family about, as well as listening and watching this video. I thought it's really important to teach kids what is going on in the world. That's why I have my nephew Sasa with us. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so our social studies learning target today is I can explain what Black Lives Matter means to me, okay? What has brought up this lesson is that there is another tragedy that has struck our country with the murder of George Floyd. And just in February, Ahmaud Arbery was also killed. And he was only 25 years old, and I am 29. So having someone that is a little bit close to my age lose their lives in an unjust way, it really means a lot. And it touches me because I can't believe to be dying at such a young age, okay? These deaths cannot go unaddressed. It is absolutely not okay, and I cannot not provide a lesson for this topic. And it means a lot because part of my job as an educator is to bring attention and to help students understand the injustice in our world today, in our history. And it's continuing on today, and it seems that no progress has been made or no progress will be made. Again, this lesson is not just for students. It is to start a discussion at home with parents and families and siblings, aunts and uncles, neighbors, and members of our community. It is to build on with meaningful and informational discussions that we can continue at home after this video. So I wanted to lead by example by making a change and bringing awareness, and it starts with our P2 family and my own personal family with my nephew. I have read something has happened in our town to the students who attended our read aloud on this Tuesday, and for all the students who attended, they got a sneak peek of this lesson, and I'm very proud of the discussions that were made, in particularly Sloan. I am so proud of you. Sloan mentioned in our read aloud this morning, why did slavery even happen in the first place? Why did it exist, and why is this happening now? And I totally agree with Sloan and her point, and I'm super proud of her for her understanding of the importance of what is going on in our history today and what has happened in our history in the past. So to start off this lesson, I would like parents and family members and students to listen and read aloud the book, Something Happened in Our Town, and I will go ahead and provide you with that link. So go ahead and you can pause the video and then go click on the link for the YouTube read aloud. And what I did with the YouTube read aloud is I actually muted the YouTube read aloud and I read the book with Sasa. Did you like the book?
Mm-hmm.
What did you like about the book?
How do you explain how Black Lives Matter?
Good job, baby. Good. So after you have read the book with your family, your stuffy, your pet animal, your siblings, or you have read the book virtually with a friend, you can start to talk about these prompts. Number 2, do you know what is happening in the news? Sasa, what do we talk about what is happening in the news? Do you want to explain to the students?
Good stuff, bad stuff, any kind of stuff that is important.
But what do we talk about? Remember George Floyd and how he died?
He was on the news too.
Yeah, he was on the news. And do you remember how I told you how he died? Who killed him?
A cop.
A cop killed him. And how does that make you feel, Sasa? That a black man died. Remember that we talked about he was unarmed? What does unarmed mean?
Means like a cop is like armed and he's white and he sees a black man and he wants to be racist, and the black man begs for mercy and bows down, but the white cop kills him anyways.
Yeah, you're right. Good job, baby. So he's right. Unarmed means that the cop was armed, and that George Floyd was a black man and he was unarmed, and he did beg for mercy, and he was being choked by the cop. And when he begged for mercy, do you know what he said, or do you want me to tell you?
You can say it.
He said, "I can't breathe," because he was being choked. He was begging for mercy. And did the cop listen to him? No. And now that George Floyd is dead, do you think that's okay? What happened?
No, and the cop got arrested.
Yep, the cop was faced with second and third degree murder charges. Okay, so now that we talked about how that made you feel about what happened with George Floyd and about the book, what does racism mean to you, Sasa?
It means making fun of other kinds, but now they gone too far with racism.
Yeah, absolutely. It means making fun of other people because of their
color, but now they gone too far.
Yeah, so racism does mean making fun of people and hurting people's feelings, and also hurting them physically because of their skin color. And you're right, it has gone too far. Sasa, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you, baby?
It means that Black Lives matters because everybody needs to be treated equally. You treat people how you want to be treated.
And you know what that's called? The golden rule. Absolutely. And then, how can we make a change today, Sasa? What are we doing today to make a change? Do you want me to tell you what I'm doing today to make a change? How I can make a change and bring awareness to Black Lives Matter is by teaching this lesson. I'm teaching this lesson to my loving students in P2, and I'm teaching this lesson to my nephew to make sure they understand the importance of Black Lives Matter. So how can you make a change?
If you see anyone being racist, and they probably don't understand, so you should tell them so they understand and stop doing it.
That's a good plan. So now that you've read the book aloud with each other, or have had the read aloud or listened to the read aloud, you can answer these questions and have a discussion at home and further the discussion any way that you see fit for your family and what do you think is appropriate for your family. After the discussion, I am going to provide this Black Lives Matter graphic organizer, and the directions say, write about Black Lives Matter means. Write about what Black Lives Matter means. Think about your community and others while writing. So Sasa, do you want to tell them what Black Lives Matter means to you?
It means Black Lives Matter means they are never treated equally because Black lives die. Now I feel sad.
Good. And then how we're bringing awareness to our community. What are we doing today also? Want to show them what you did? What did we do, baby?
We printed this out and colored it for Black Lives.
And then where do you want to hang that?
Around the town.
You want to hang it around the town? So I will also provide, in addition to the graphic organizer, I will also provide the coloring sheets. And my students in P2, these look very familiar. We did these during our Black History unit that we just ended 2 weeks ago. So we're going to continue that for today's lesson. And I'm going to give you the PDF with all the coloring sheets. And some will look familiar to you, and you can do that as well. You can hang them around, color them and hang them around in your windows and hang them around in your neighborhood. I think we're gonna hang them around the mailbox post in front of our house to spread awareness and to support Black Lives Matter. And then, in addition to these resources, I wanted to remind students about the posters that we hung around our school during Black History. Just drink wine. I printed out the 3 posters that were meaningful to me. This one says restorative justice. We know that if you knock down someone's block buildings, you have to help them rebuild it. You can't just say sorry and walk away. We also know that it's important for kids to be able to make a better choice another time, and it's grown-ups' job to help them make better choices and give them chances to do that. So this is the restorative justice poster that I really enjoyed, and I think we're gonna hang this around our neighborhood today. Here's another poster that I enjoyed. Loving engagement. It's so important to make sure that we are always trying to be fair and peaceful and to engage with other people. Treat other people with love. We have to keep practicing this so that we can get better and better at it. Another way to say that is loving engagement. You want to read this one? Globalism. Globalism
means that we are thinking about all the different people all over the world and thinking about the ways to keep things fair anywhere.
Everywhere. Good job.
Everywhere.
Okay. And I'm gonna leave the video off with an important note. With our Black History Unit, P2 students, if you remembered learning about baby Rachel, she was a slave baby that was taken away from her mother, and she was being sold in the town at an auction. So baby Rachel was being sold in the town at an auction, and people were buying babies and buying children, right? So imagine that slaves having children back then and having them being taken away and sold to families,
For slaves.
other slave owners, being sold to other slave owner families, and you don't know where your child is. And this is happening because of the color of their skin. They are Black. So that was one lesson that was very meaningful to me. Another lesson that was very meaningful to me during our Black History Unit, if you remember about Henry Box Brown. So Henry Box Brown, Sasa, he was a man that was a slave, so he was Black, and he was freed. However, his wife and his child were in another city owned by another slave owner, and the rules and the laws back then didn't allow Black people to travel. So he couldn't see his wife and his children. So Henry Box Brown had this brilliant idea that he couldn't travel, but he needed to make his way to see his wife and his children. So he built a crate box, put himself inside of it, and shipped it to where his wife and his child were to be reunited. And all of that trouble that he went to was only because, why?
To see his wife and his child.
Yeah, to see his wife and his child. But why couldn't he just travel? Why didn't people let him travel at that time?
Because it was a rule.
It was a rule for what kind of people?
Black people.
Black people. So back in our US history, Black people were always treated unfairly. Today is 2020, and Black people are still being treated unfairly, and it goes beyond that. Black people are being killed, and Black people are being discriminated and profiled, which is not okay. And I hope with this video lesson, you will understand what is right, what is wrong, and understand the meaning